Greetings fellow members of the Esoteric Order of Gamers, Peter, Universal Head here, and today I'm going to take a dive into the realm of beasts. Yes, the wonderfully named Grrr, which always makes me think of the end of Buffy the Vampire Slayer when the mutant enemy zombie went across the screen and went Grrr, arg. But that's just an aside, just me. Grrr is the realm of beasts, and the continent of Thondia is in the realm of beasts, and this is all about Thondia. We have here the Season of War Thondia sourcebook. It's not only a sourcebook of lore, but there's also a lot of rules for setting your Age of Sigmar games in the realm of beasts. And then we have this huge box, which is the Thondian Strongpoint, and a whole lot of very impressive terrain, and also an incarnate, this strange spelled beastie creature thing here. There's also some lovely other terrain. I'm going to build that and show you what it looks like, and we're just going to get into some beastly fun. So before I build this huge amount of plastic, I want to show you the Thondian Strongpoint Realmscape box and what you get inside the box. It's a nice high quality thick box, which I'm very happy to see. It's great to see these good quality boxes, really good for storage. And this is what you get, this range of terrain, and also a couple of battle boards as well. Double-sided battle boards. And there's a strange mix of stuff here. There's skeleton creatures and statues, and there's Grrr incarnate, and this weird-looking floating spring thing, some buildings, whole lot of stuff. So, when you open the box, you're of course confronted with sprues of plastic. Here they are. This is our incarnate creature. Some lovely ruined buildings. There's our statue. More ruined buildings with some lovely detailing there on the door. This is this mysterious spring thing. What's it called? I've got to look it up. I've forgotten the name of it. Oh, there you go. It's a cleansing aqualith, of course. More lovely pieces. And this is our huge ruined dinosaur bones. And then we've got a very nice large base for the incarnate. Protective sheet. And here are our two battle boards, double-sided battle boards. I will show you those when I've built these and I can set it up on the terrain. So I'm going to start putting together some plastic. I'll be back in a moment. And here we have it, an impressive selection of terrain, I'm sure you'll agree. And we have these two battle boards, of course. They are each 22 by 30 inches, which is the new Games Workshop standard. So together you get 44 by 30 inches. And quite a nice surface, just enough detail to make it interesting. A few little bones and runes and things in there on the surface. It's a nice bright colour, so it's going to brighten up your games a little bit. Not bad at all, I quite like it. Interesting surface. But let's look at the terrain pieces. Well, let's start off with the cleansing aqualith, which is this very impressive thing. Now, I remember this did come out as a piece on its own. Interesting. I'm not sure. Is it a realm of beasts kind of thing? I guess so. I mean, you know, this is a theme that is bringing all these together, and some of the pieces feel more beastie than others. This one, yeah, not so much. But what we've got here is an excuse to give you a big box of terrain at a lower price than if you bought the items individually. And I do believe you can't get most of these items individually anymore anyway. So even though it's a very expensive box, I think it's $399 I can get it for in New Zealand. That's in New Zealand dollars, of course. So very expensive, but if you bought all the individual pieces, it would cost a lot more. So what I've done when I've built this is to keep this piece separate, so it'll be a lot easier to paint that bit in there, and also to paint this, which is quite detailed. You can see lots of lovely detail on that. This thing could almost work on its own, couldn't it? Yeah, maybe. This could work on its own. It's a very weird, very Age of Sigmar type thing. They're very much into floating objects and stuff like that. Got the waterfalls coming down. Very, unusual high fantasy piece. Then you've got this statue here, which is called a guardian idol. Again, I haven't put all this together to facilitate painting, so this shield will come off, this arm comes off, this comes off the pedestal, and then this piece will come off as well. So when I take that apart, actually, I might keep that always apart, because there we go, I can just have a separate wall piece if I want to. It does have these flat bits with holes in them, but still, I could do that. Or I might just glue it all together when it's painted, but certainly that makes it easier. So that's a nice terrain piece. Then you've got this lovely thing here, which are the Megadroth remains. And this comes in a few pieces. You've got this lovely big spine and this piece here. And then this is a little detachable jaw piece. You can keep that separate if you want to. So you could put it on the board going, or you could just close it up. But yeah, I love this piece. This is perfect for the Realm of Beasts, obviously, and could be used in lots of games to add a sort of, you know, weird element to the tabletop. Really nice. Should be easy to paint too, because it's just weathered bone. This is the Crond Spine Incarnate of Gur, which is this incarnated spirit of the land of beasts. And wow, you know, plastics technology has really come a long way, hasn't it? It's amazing how this thing is held up by just that. This is multi-piece, so you really want to make sure these bits are totally and utterly dry, or at least braced while they're drying, because there's a lot of weight going on this bit here. But yeah, creepy looking thing. We'll have a look at its stats a bit later, because it's in the Thondian book. Very impressive, a lot of detail there. Then a couple of lovely building pieces, which are called domicile shells for some strange reason. They're in a state of construction, as you can see. There's all the construction materials and winches and things around the outside, scaffolding, etc., which make for some really nice characterful building pieces. And they're nice and tall too, which I really like about them. Look at this, all this lovely detail here. These are quite nice, aren't they? Look at that. It's being winched up. A lot of detail, so something far more interesting than your usual building pieces. They're quite gorgeous. And then for some strange reason, just a little pile of pillars there, just as a little obstacle. So a very impressive amount of terrain. Of course, you've got the battle boards as well. Let's look over the other side of the battle boards. Here's the other side, a sort of grey browny kind of colour. Didn't like it as soon as I looked at it, and then it's growing on me, actually. It's got some nice stone elements here and little bits of water there. I think that, you know, the artwork is okay, but you can sort of see the blending of the sort of Photoshop elements. As someone who uses Photoshop a lot, I can see how they've just sort of feathered this into the texture, which is okay. I mean, it's not obvious. And I think it's a nice sort of base neutral colour for a board. So yeah, I think I'll be using that quite a lot too. Okay, let's have a look at the Season of War Thondia book. Now, of course, I've mentioned before that I'm a very casual Age of Sigmar player, so this kind of thing probably isn't directed towards me. I wouldn't normally buy it because I don't play enough games to take advantage of all the rules in here. But if you're a frequent player of Age of Sigmar and you want to set a campaign in the Age of Beasts, well, you've got it covered in here. There's a whole lot of stuff for the different 3 modes of play, and to make a campaign in the Land of Beasts distinctive. So first, of course, we have the background section, which talks all about the history and the events, current events in the Land of Beasts. And I always say that I don't read a lot of this because I start reading it and my eyes start to glaze over a little bit. And that's only because, as I said, I have so many games, so I just don't have the time to get fully invested in the background of Age of Sigmar. But my goodness, it's certainly fleshed out these days from a very vague kind of high fantasy background. It's now getting very, very detailed. And what intrigues me is, you know, here's the Gurish heartlands for the land of the whole beasts area. Thondia is only up here, so are they going to release battle packs for, you know, Antor and Galat and all these other places as well? I would have thought they'd do one just for the Land of Beasts and then one for the others. But it seems that they're really getting into the detail, so maybe the Land of Beasts will come back around again and they'll do another part of the continent or a separate continent. in this area, who knows? But certainly in the Mortal Realms there are just so many possibilities now. You can see actually, if you look back and see why they destroyed the old world and created the Mortal Realms, because it just expanded all those possibilities so much more. There was really only so much you could do in the old world after a while. That said, of course, they may be bringing back the old world in a special set, probably something along the lines of the Horus Heresy for Warhammer 40,000 they might do for the old world. Who knows? That's in the future. So again, all this background information, if you want to get into that, I won't spoil it for you because I haven't read it all. Then we get into, there's a bit of stuff about the incarnates of Gur. We've got that model, which is sort of life force of the land itself taking form. And they're quite interesting because they can be bonded to heroes and the hero can command them. But if the hero dies, then they can go wild and they basically treat everybody as an enemy. So that's quite fun. I really like the idea of that. So then we get on to, look at this fantastic photography. Really nice, really shows off those new models. More information about some of the distinctive creatures in Gur, which is nice, done as sort of notes with sketches, really like that. Then we get on to the rules section. So here's where I'll be picking and choosing bits to use in my particular games or if I had the time of campaign. There's a lot here to enjoy. Here's that Gur incarnate, which looks pretty amazing. And here's the stats. So you've got it here. Pretty vicious. It's got 6 attacks on the claws, and you know, not only that, and 1 on the tearing fangs, which does 4 damage. But the thing about this is that you also add its state, and the incarnate goes through different states: empowered, primal, weakened, and eventually abolished. It doesn't actually have wounds. Each time, if it's allocated wounds, you roll a 3d6, and if the roll is less than or equal to the number of wounds allocated to it, it goes down a level. So it can, you know, stick around for quite a while, and especially if the person who is commanding it is dead and it's killing everybody, it can certainly be a force on the battlefield, I'd say. Quite interesting. So that's a whole new sort of type of creature as the incarnate, and no doubt we'll have incarnates for other realms in the Mortal Realms as well, because they can have incarnates of all types of land qualities. Then we get into the rules for just the realm, so things like mysterious terrain and everything, which is great. Battle pack, we're getting into open play now. That was core rules. Now we get into the open play stuff. So battle plan generator, you can see here, victory table, so different victory conditions, all the other things like twists and arcane prizes and ruses and stuff. Then narrative play, and there's a lot of narrative play stuff in here. So if you're doing a campaign in the Beast Realms, this will be fantastic for you. The Path to Glory stuff, quests, veteran abilities, monster abilities, territories, expeditions. Then you've got the battle plans, of course. And then you've got rules here for creating your own heroes, which are themed for this whole area. So you can create your own champions and things using the steps here to create your own hero, which is interesting. So these are sort of different ancestries, the basis of your hero, and then you can add your armory, different archetypes, bestial companions even, enhancements, all kinds of things. So that's, you know, pretty interesting stuff. You can make some distinctive models there, and of course convert them and paint them to fit with this whole theme. Summons to War battle pack, you've got your War Scroll battalions, of course. More battle plans for narrative play. So lots and lots of beast theme battle plans. Then we go into match play, battle pack for that, and various things, core battalions, grand strategies, tactics, and of course a scoring sheet if you want to run a campaign. So this is a good way of keeping track of all the games. Here are the battle plans listed, and you know, who wins and all the rest of it. And then finally those match plan battle plans. And that's it. So as you can see, chock full of stuff for the more dedicated Age of Sigmar player. If you want to set a campaign in Thondia, I think this is pretty amazing stuff, really. As I said, not so much for me. I'm just playing one-off games. But it's a very nice book, and I'm sure we'll be seeing lots more from Games Workshop along this line. And they'll probably be releasing themed terrain packs too. I think in the terrain, I probably would have liked to see a little bit more in the way of actual terrain, like rocks and things, perhaps that were animated, or, you know, the things like the aquifer and everything feel kind of shoehorned in from earlier releases. But I suppose they're not necessarily creating a pack of terrain which is specifically just for the Realm of Beasts. They're throwing together different releases, putting in the incarnate, and then making it available for cheaper than buying all the individual bits individually. However, I'm not sure if you can get the incarnate separately. That might be something. I'm sure you can. Surely you can. You wouldn't have to buy the huge set just to get the incarnate. So, you know, I look forward to future sets of different realms with different terrain themes. It should be interesting. So, some very interesting stuff from Warhammer Age of Sigmar. I hope you've enjoyed this overview of it. Again, this is from the point of view of a casual player. I'm not heavily into the meta and all that kind of stuff. I'm sure you can find all that level of detail elsewhere if you need it. But if you just want an overview, I hope you've enjoyed this video. This is the Esoteric Order of Gamers. I'm Peter, and of course you can find the Esoteric Order of Gamers at orderofgamers.com. Please do go check it out. Subscribe to this channel, hit the all notifications button, check me out on social media. I will see you next time. Thank you very much for watching.